Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. Welcome back once again for the Friday chat, where at the end of the week, well, for sake of that, it's Friday, we have a bit of a chat, bit of a roundup what's been going on, and maybe look at a bit of news if there's anything interesting about. So it's Friday, but for me it really feels like Monday because I have this work shift that goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday when it's normal, and then extra bits get bolted on here and there. But it's all pretty quiet at the moment, so good in one way, but bad in another way. Thank you for subscribing to the channel if you have done already. If you haven't, please consider doing so. There's a lot of content there. With your support, we can keep going. Thank you to the members as well, which we'll come to a bit later on in the video with our shout outs. If you want to find out a bit about what that entails, click on the join button at some point. It doesn't commit you straight away. There's another video and then you can make your decision then what you want to do. But thank you for watching anyway. Now you might notice again I'm inside. This week I had intended to go for a walk, but the weather is quite bad, so it scuppered us a little bit, so it just builds up the extra suspense for people who've watched other walks if that red rubbish bag is still there on the walk, or someone actually cleared it up. So we have to wait another week to find out if that is actually the case. Yeah, a bit rainy, a bit windy. I didn't think the camera would be able to take it and you wouldn't be able to hear me. So there we go. Hope weather's been better where you are. I know I'm in the UK. I know a lot of you in the UK as well, but there is a big percentage now of people not in the UK. You might be a lot warmer where you are, in the USA or Australia, Holland, Germany, Mars. I don't think any of you are from Mars, but if you are, then comment below. Generally, we do 6 videos on the channel a week and a live stream there, which is happening on the Tuesday. So thank you if you had time to drop in to see those live, or indeed you watched it afterwards. They're always great fun. Put in 8 random games that I think we might gel together. We have a bit of nonsense chat and dodgy gameplay. If you missed a few, want to find out what that's about, then if you click on my name, well, my channel name, it goes to the main screen page. And then there's playlist tabs, and you can look at the playlist live streams. There you go. There's a lot if you want to catch up with all of them. Even if you want to go historic, there's the 360p live streams when I first started, almost about a year ago now, where, well, it was a struggle. So thank you if you saw the ones way back then on my 0.6 upgrade speed, which was, yeah, upload speed, I should say. But there we go. But what videos have we looked at this week? Well, on the ZX Spectrum, I'll just say them briefly, will I? Well, I might go on a bit. It was Jack the Nipper, where basically you're a baby and have to be as naughty as possible. Now, in the review, there are a few bits I weren't quite getting. You've got a naughtier meter, and by doing naughty acts, that goes up and up and up. And if you lose too much energy, you get a nappy rash and lose a life, essentially. In the live stream, people gave me a few tips because I played it in the live stream. There was a pea shooter, which I misinterpreted as, or identified as, a hammer originally, and I could fire that to be extra naughty. And you can use that to smash plates and do various other things. There's some poison, you can poison plants. It's all great fun. It does have a sequel called Jack the Nipper 2, which I might come to at some point. So that was pretty cool. Although I don't think I ever would have completed it as a kid. I would have just wandered around bewildered but having fun at the same time. Same day we looked at Canyon Warrior, which is a vertical scroller shoot 'em up. Great sounds on this. Reviewed the 128k version, very colourful. I think it might not have been that well known back in the day because there was a lot of vertical scrolling shooters, but this is one of the better ones, it has to be said. I've never heard of it back in the day. I prefer Glass we looked at last week, but that's an epic game, Glass. Canyon Warrior, in space, going through different canyons, believe it or not, picking up upgrades, destroying ender level bosses. It's classic retro shooting stuff. The only other Spectrum game we looked at was a homebrew again, not as popular as Golden Axe Reimagined I looked at last week. It was Flappy Bird ZX. It's based on the game by Dot Gears, I think come out on iOS and maybe Android as well. The author got so guilty that people were addicted to this original game that he actually removed it from sale. But it was making quite a lot in ad revenue beforehand. There's not much to it really, but the Spectrum version moves very smoothly. You control a bird, which was a little bit like Homer Simpson, someone noticed, and I have to agree, it's yellow as well. But using the spacebar, you have to, well, press the spacebar, release the spacebar to gain height. There's a bit of inertia there, it's not as easy as it sounds to manoeuvre between a couple of pipes. Get to a certain stage, then all the pipes change colour, different background, and then you do the same thing over and over again. If you just casually look at it, you think, why is everyone addicted to this thing? But you only play it for a little while and then you just get addicted to getting your higher and higher scores. So have a look at that one if you haven't already. You might have seen these reviews already, you might have missed a few, but that's what it's all about. If you're a member on the channel, you will get access to a video every Sunday telling you what videos are going up in the next week. So if you want to practice those or do a bit of research, you can do before the things goes up. 3 other games really. On the Commodore Amiga, it's a game I struggled to get working for quite some time, but now I had a breakthrough. It's Cannon Fodder. Already reviewed this on the Mega Drive. It's pretty good on the Amiga as well, maybe ever so slightly better. It's got a good learning curve on it really. Manoeuvre your troops, strategy, destroy buildings, destroy whatever the mission would be, normally the enemy in some shape or form. That's another bit I wasn't quite getting, but people in the comment section have seen me right, so if I played that again I'd do a lot further. The reviews are always about your first or second go. Now if I go back my third and fourth go, I'll be fine. I was blowing up the bombs next to the building. That's quite wasteful. If I picked them up before, it would have given me about 3 or 4 bombs rather than just one explosion. And I come a cropper on a certain level. I think it was Beachy Head, I think it was called, where I ran out of bombs. I was wandering around thinking, where are the other bombs? Well, I'd used them all. I was never going to get out of that. But classic game Cannon Fodder does have a sequel called Cannon Fodder 2, which I think I've been told is quite similar. So we might come to that at some stage. On the Mega Drive, I like my top-down racing games, although I tend to struggle with them on the Mega Drive, and this was the same on this one. I was better in it than Micro Machines, but it's combat cars, a variety of colourful characters, very, very fast action. I think it's 24 tracks, I only got to about 2, but it's well worth practicing. My favourite character by far to control was the alien called Andrew, with green skin, and he fires forward missiles. I think a lot of the others have reverse firing stuff or dumping oil. I found him the easiest to control. But yeah, it takes a bit of practice, that one, combat cars. I don't think I'll go back to it because, as I say, things are awash with top-down races, but you never know, I might do. I like the slower paced ones like Nitro on the Commodore Amiga and Supercars 2, that sort of thing. Combat cars, a bit quick for me, but that could be because my reflexes are rubbish. What else was there? There's only other one game we looked at. Occasionally look at Commodore 64 things, tend to rotate with the Super Nintendo and a Nintendo 64. Probably going to bring PlayStation into the mix quite soon as well if I can get the emulator to work. But we looked at Pang. I love Pang. I love Super Pang on the Super Nintendo. I love it on the Amiga. I love it on the Spectrum. This one I wasn't quite as enamoured with it. I was a little bit disappointed. Graphics are good, although a little bit washed out, but that's the Commodore 64 palette. I found it very, very difficult. It's very unforgiving. You know, the balloons seem to bounce in a pattern where it's quite hard to avoid them, and the collision detection wasn't wonderful, but that might be just my gameplay. The other versions I tend to get a lot further, and so enjoyed it a bit more. What was my favourite game of all of those? Well, it's quite close, but I'd have to pick Cannon Fodder because it's such a genius game. I see the excitement in all the other ones. Flappy Bird ZX, not much to it. I think it's the least watched video this week, but I quite like that as well because of the addictiveness of it. If you want a slower moving version of that, then try Flappy Clive, which is another homebrew reviewed quite some time ago. But my favourite one yet, Cannon Fodder on the Commodore Amiga. You might have a different favourite. If so, let me know in the comment section below, unless they put it above. But I think it is still below. Okie dokie. So quite often, I'm a bit of a workaholic. I don't know if you are. There's a spare moment, I'll fill it up with stuff. So I'm having to try and force myself to take time off. Now recently on Amazon I saw a good deal for this Star Trek set here. It's the original 6 films, quite thin cases this one. There, I remember them from the childhood, a few of them, but I just gradually, if you've been following me on Twitter you might know, I've been gradually watching them one by one when I get some spare time. It's not bad. I think it was about £12 I think for 6, and they're all Blu-rays. You get 6 movies, and I think there's a bonus one as well. So I looked at the motion picture. I remember that as a kid. Very slow moving film, but I love that sort of era of sci-fi, like ones like the Black Hole, where there's loads and loads of scenes of slow moving spaceships, just the emptiness of space. And space seemed more real back then in the films. It seemed more big, more I don't know, accessible is probably the wrong word, but it seemed more in awe of it, where the modern day ones it's just all explosions and zipping around and things, and space is just some sort of like adventure theme park. Motion picture was good. I prefer Wrath of Khan though, which I keep calling Wrath of Ken. Watched the Search for Spock also, which continues quite beautifully from the second film. I didn't really appreciate that back in the day when I saw it. And the most recent one I've watched, which I only remember bits of as a kid, I think I might have watched fragments of it at Christmas. The Journey Home, where they had to capture a couple of, go back in time. Really stupid storyline, but I liked it. It's quite funny. An alien probe goes to Earth, trying to talk to everyone, but only talking to humpback whales, because they think when they first contacted Earth, humpback whales were the main species, there was no humans. And because humpback whales were extinct in the 21st century, they couldn't ask, so the probe was destroying the Earth for some reason. So Kirk, are you following this so far? So Kirk had to go back in time, get some not worms, that would have been disastrous, get some whales, put them back in the 21st century so they could speak to the probe and the probe could buzz off. Yes. It sounds like it shouldn't work, does it? But I thought it was quite an enjoyable film. So I've only got two more to look at now when I get a spare moment. I've got the The Final Frontier, Star Trek V, and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Now I can't remember those two either, so it might be a case that I've only watched fragments of those as well. But yeah, £12 it was, so I don't know how much it is now. I've got from ages ago, I've got the more modern films, although I haven't got the most recent Star Trek movie because I don't think I liked it. But I like this era the best. I like Next Generation, but this era movies I like this era the best. There we go. It just seems more Star Trek back then, but again, that's retro nostalgia always plays a big feel on it. What's your thoughts on that? Do you like the old Trek or the new Trek? I can't watch Discovery for some reason. I can't get the characters, but that might be just being a fuddy-duddy and not moving with the times. Get with the times, Grandad. Right, okay. fair enough. So that's what I've been doing. So, just a gradual movie night. Next week, I'm always a fan of the Formula 1. Next week, it's the Monaco Grand Prix. Not this week, but next week. Nick, why are you talking about it next week then? I think it's because the Grand Prix might be happening on a Thursday or a Friday or a day earlier, so I might not get time to talk about it. But there's a driver you might have noticed if you're into it, you might not have done. He's a Russian driver called Mazepan, or Marzipan if you want to take the mickey out of him. He's called Nikita Mazepan. Now, he drives for the Haas team. Along with Michael Schumacher's son, Mick Schumacher. The Haas isn't the best car in the world, so it's making him look worse than he is. Well, I mean, yeah, he's pretty bad. Now, Formula 1 is the pinnacle of motorsport. You don't get to Formula 1 by being a great driver. You only get there by being one of the best drivers in the world. So good drivers can be made to look very, very, very average. But it's a sport also where to keep running as a team you need millions of pounds in sponsorship. You just need money coming in. And so over time has created this hole where if someone's got really, really rich backers, it can get them into Formula 1 without necessarily having the skills to actually be there really. As I say, a good driver could be made to look rubbish. I think this is the case with Mazepan. He's causing lots of near misses. He's spinning off a lot. There's lots of radio footage of cars saying what's he doing, what's going on, and cutting people up, not letting the lap racers go past him. He almost collided into race leader Sergio Perez in the last race. He's dangerous. And now we're coming up to the Monaco Grand Prix. The Monaco Grand Prix is unforgiving. It's very narrow. Any mistakes and you can take out 4 or 5 cars because there's just no runoff areas. I'm a little bit worried. I think they should find a way to make him start from the pit lane somehow after all the rest of the cars. But I would not like to be racing in the same race as Mazepan there. What do you think? Do you think he's a good driver? Do you think he should be there? Do you think he's just had a bad start? Is it just the Haas cars making him look worse? His lap times are quite a bit less than Mick Schumacher, so it's hard to guess how quick Mick Schumacher is, but I think he might be being flattered to a certain degree. So that's just what I think there. Okay, so here's the members bit. Thank you again to the members that are keeping the channel running. It's much appreciated there. Thank you to all the tiers. If you're on the 2nd tier and above, I will give you a shout out unless you don't want me to. If you don't want me to, then obviously direct message me on Twitter or put a message in the members section. But anyone on the second tier and above, shout you out. Any websites you're working on, games even, or anything outside of YouTube, or even if you've got a friend that wants to shout out for something they're doing, I can do that for you. Okay, so we've got a good community building up, and it really reflects in the live streams as well. Okay, if you're a member as well, I think you get a coloured slight circle badge next to your name as well, and it also shows up in the chat box, live chat, which does on my side anyway, on the live streams as well. So I can just point you out there. Okay, so big thanks this time to Una Bjornsson. Thank you very much, sir. Jason Smith. Now Squidworth. I hope you're okay, Squidworth. Power to you, sir, whatever you're doing out there. Thank you very much. Stu Who. Nikki S, Claire Johnson, thank you much for your support, everyone. James O'Grady, John Roby and Jeffrey Searby, thank you. Steve and Norman, thank you very much. Steve, always keep an eye on Steve's blog, of course, which I give a shout each time. Anyone else on the second tier, if you want me to shout anything out, don't forget that is a perk. If you want me to shout that out, that's no problem, I can do at this point. Now, Steve's blog, retroarcadia.blog. That's retroarcadia.blog, and looks at a random game each week, or maybe even more than one game sometimes. This time he's on the VIC-20 system I don't know too much about, but it preceded the Commodore 64. A game called, I think it's Andes Attack, if I've written that right. If I've written it wrong, then apologies. It's a game, as I say, I'm unfamiliar with, but it looks very much like Defender. It's in that sort of like vein. There might be a few differences there, but this time Steve's had a look at that. So do get, if you get an opportunity, do have a look at retroarcadia.blog. He does at least one blog every week. Working on new ones all the time. So yeah, really well written. It's quite long, much longer than my Ko-Fi blogs I do to link into the videos as well. So yeah, have a look at that. So well done, Steve. Keep up the good work. Another good one there on the VIC-20, which, as I say, I don't know too much about. Thank you. Big thanks to Lemmy Barnett. Thank you. Steve Q. Thank you for all your help, Steve, as well. And also, yeah, let me know about that wonderful Dizzy game. Thank you very much there. Big thanks to Phil Hill. Good to see you again in the stream. So I hope you're doing well, Phil. Have a good weekend, everyone. Rossi Bossy, thank you. Rossi's still working on Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix. I think he's under some negotiations regarding that. So it's always the... making the game seems to be the easier bit, and it's negotiations and getting things in the right way is slightly trickier. But you know, that's moving forward, and it deserves to do well because it's a cracking game. So keep your eye to the ground on that one. When I get any further news about that particular game, I'll of course let you know. If you want something in the interim, I put Rossi's site up there. You might be able to see he's got Nifty Lifty 2 if you want to have a look at that one, and Re-Enduro also, which is a reworking of the original Enduro game, which I really loved on the Atari 2600, and to a lesser degree on the ZX Spectrum, which I live streamed last time. It looks like we were racing insects rather than a Formula 1 car. So, you know, get a note of that game, Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix. If you want more news, then obviously follow Rossi on Twitter. I retweet a lot of the updates as well, which is Jenkins7Nick. So thank you very much. Well done, Rossi. Big thanks also to Chono Baggy. Thanks, Chono. Power to you. Jason Holmes, Andrew Gibson and Grey Hulk 2. Thank you. Now there's 6 of you on the upper tier, so as usual I'm always blown away by your continued support on this tier, because that's the sort of thing that makes huge differences to the channel in an attempt to one day go full time. But I'm headed slowly going towards that area in small steps, so thank you very much. So big thank you to Martin Reimel. I know quite often you can't get to the live streams, but you watch it quite a lot the next day. Sometimes I give you a shout out in the stream knowing you're going to be there the next day, so which is quite funny. And I think last time I do appreciate your comment you made quite early on the stream before it went live, which I read before we went there, saying you're from the future, and I found that quite amusing. So thank you, Martin. So big thanks to Martin. Richard Mitten also, thank you, Richard. You're a top guy. You've been in some of the streams as well, so huge thank you to you. Hope things are going good. Tom, thank you. Graham Vebke, my friend in Australia. Hope all is good, Graham, and life is treating you well. Big thank you to Colin Hode as well. Thank you, Colin. Thank you. Speak to you on Twitter every now and again. And also to Jules M. Now, you might be familiar with Jules' site. I'll read it again there, so do have a look at this. It's books of 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. I'll put the link up just in case I say it wrong, because it's quite a long link. It's schoolreading70sbooks.weebly.com. That's schoolreading70sbooks.weebly.com. A good dip into nostalgia. There used to be a blog there that we've been shouting out a couple of weeks there, but I think that's taken a rest for a little while. But there's still lots and lots of content there. I think there's a link to my old toy box as well, which Jules runs, if you want toys there. So it's a bit of a nostalgia fest. It's one of those sites where you go on it looking at one thing, you end up clicking on lots of links, and you can go to all different places. Before you know it, you've looked at lots and lots of cool stuff. Okay, so yeah, a bit of an Aladdin's cave, that one. So check that one out, schoolreading70sbooks.weebly.com. So thank you everyone. As I say, if you want to become a member, click on that join button, see what it's all about, and then make your decision there. If you want a spangly badge next to your name as well. Be a couple of ZX Spectrum games on the channel on Saturday, as per usual. Always keep that going. Be a couple of retro games on Sunday. As I say, members will know what they will be. On Sunday there'll be the members video as well. So thank you very much. Keep safe. It's all about beating stress, this channel, regardless you're a member or not. Although that does help me go. If you subscribe, that is huge for me as well, so thank you very much. Okay, so take care of yourself, have a wonderful weekend. Till next time, take great care of yourself, and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, E.
And Jenkin.